Dependency, with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays, at 10 a.m., and exclusively, on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live, on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page, and YouTube channel.
Hello Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Eye on Dependency, right here on I-95.5 FM, live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel. Morning, Natasha.
Good morning, Garth, and welcome to Eye on Dependency. Again, those of you tuned in on I-95, plus special welcome to you as well. And those of you who will be joining us online on our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, please remember when it is up to like the live when you enter.
This morning, we have a story about miracles, a story about the will to live and survival. We have a walking miracle in studio with us, accompanied by her daughter. And some of you would have forgotten about her. And we always felt that this was a remarkable person to have survived 9 rounds of ammunition sent at her in anger. She survived that. She's in studio with us here this morning to take us through that fateful day and how she managed to survive and how did her children deal with that situation. Something that no family wants to even talk about or even imagine happening to them. Peola'S Wellington is in studio here with us this morning, accompanied by her daughter. Tom, Mike.
I don't know what number that is. 3?
4, 5.
3.
So we wish her a pleasant morning while we, as a woman, everything just falling into place for women.
Garth is not on, Tom.
Everything is falling into place for women in Trinidad and Tobago. For some strange reason, we have a new government, and
For some strange reason.
no, for some miraculous reason, it's something probably what is needed right now.
Yes.
In Trinidad and Tobago.
Agreed.
So we congratulate the new government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Indeed.
And its new leader, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, back in the seat as Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. And there are some stories in there too of miracles that probably you all missed, but we will share that with you before we wrap up this morning. However, we have a miracle to speak with this morning. Good morning, Peola'S.
Good morning, Garth. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Natasha.
And her daughter, Diana. Morning, Diana.
Good morning, and good morning to the nation who's listening.
And as you know, as the senior citizens like to say, I know Diana since she was a child. Yes, Diana was a training at the Civilian Conservation Corps when I was there as an instructor.
Indeed.
And she did well there, and she continues to make her family proud. So, Peola'S, you are representing thousands of voices this morning in our private security industry. And we're going to speak to that today. No family expects, and this is for all uniform wearing personnel in Trinidad and Tobago. You leave home one day, you never know what's going to happen before that day is done. Peola'S, we want to thank to your hairdresser, because that is how we found you. Could you tell us give us his name, his business, where is he located?
His name is Antonia. Only name by Antonia, that's what he's registered at, Antonia. He's situated at Montrose on the main road opposite I think Subway.
Right. Well, he was happily doing your hair, and he told a bit, and then I said, hey, this is the lady we've been looking for. So thank you very much, Antonia, for hooking us up with Peola'S, and we hope your business grow by leaps and bounds. Now, Peola, your family, where were you from? Where do you originate from?
I'm actually from St. Vincent.
Okay.
I was born there. I came to Trinidad at an early age of 12 years old. And from there, I started everything. I got married. I am from the fishing village of Claxton Bay. I got married and I mothered 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls.
Wow. And when you came across from St. Vincent, who did you come with?
I came by myself to meet my auntie.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived by my auntie for quite a while.
So you came over very young.
I came over, yeah.
Okay. And you like growing up in Trinidad and
Yeah.
What was it like compared to St. Vincent? Was it a hard transition, or did you?
No. At that time, it was a good transition for me because my mom had passed away. So, being me the only girl, and I have 2 other siblings, which is 2 older brothers. So, my auntie decided to take care of me.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward into your adult life. You had several jobs, or you went straight to security?
I was doing the nurse aid program, so I worked at the community hospital for some time, and then after they sent some of us home, and so I went in to security at the moment. Yeah,
How many years you spent there?
security 16 years before the incident. 16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
Wow. Did you know of anyone who was in that industry? Were you apprised of, what it might entail for you and how you might? Well, I mean, lasting so long in the industry, obviously, it suited you. But did you know anything about it before?
No.
Not really.
Yeah. So I was trained at the beginning. Yeah, you do get some sort of training before you start. Yeah.
No, was that the only option, or you loved uniform work?
It was the easier option for me. So I liked it and I stayed there. Yeah.
Now, for those of you who can't remember, Peola was one of the personnel who went to pick up cash from Pennywise in San Fernando.
La Romaine. Yeah.
La Romaine, to be exact. And on their way out, we saw on video a movie-style assault on that vehicle that caused a lot of conversation for a few weeks, and then it just died away. And we really hope going forward that conversations like these would not die away without having been resolved, and what can come out of situations like these. We should always try to use these. And this is what Peola we'll go to a break. And when we return, we will ask Peola to take us through that day, how she felt, what happened. Let's walk through, and keep in mind, we have other security officers in Trinidad and Tobago who face this almost every day. When I say going out there, most of them unarmed, and are asked to protect life and property. Some of them, they do it because they don't have a choice, or they really prefer to do that rather than, walk on the other side of life. And I always show great respect to security officers, because I know it's a group of people that a lot of us don't respect.
True.
It's for some strange reason, but I always address them as officer because they have a job to do, and they are very important in the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. So let's go to that break, and when we return, Peola will take us through that fateful day.
Join us this Sunday, 4th May, for episode 18 of Ion.
Daughter, we'll hear from her daughter as well, who's in studio. So let's go to that break. We'll be back.
Yes, girl. I'm lying here with this weirdo named Larry. I'm getting rid of him now. Let's take a selfie. It looking good, boy. I putting it online.
Hey, I thought you say you went to the beach with your parents.
Who's you?
It's me, Larry, from online.
Hola, my name is Elena. Well, it's actually not my real name. You don't really care, do you? All you care about is want to pay your money to my boss that I look pretty, smell nice, smile for you, and let you have good time. Enjoying yourself and doing to me whatever you want to do for the money you paid. What you don't see or know is that I don't get any part of the money you paid. My boss takes all of it. I am forced to work, taking as many clients as my boss tells me to. I am beaten, made to take drugs, and I cannot leave this kind of work on my own. I am a victim of human trafficking. Please, por favor, help me.
Join us this Sunday, 4th May, for episode 18 of Ion Dependency, where every life is a biography.
So when I got up the morning, something was telling me do not go to work.
She went anyway. Hours later, she was shot 9 times during a robbery while on duty as a security officer. Now, she's telling her story of trauma, survival, and strength in her own words.
I am Peola, and this is my story.
How did she make it through? What does her story reveal about the frontline risks security officers face every day? Listen live from 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. The Counter-Trafficking Unit, Ministry of National Security brings you Eye on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Ion Dependency, and we are back to our regular scheduled time, so saying good morning is not a challenge. We are in studio with Peola and her daughter Diane, and we wanted to start right off and take her back to the day of the incident. So Peola, can you take us back to the morning of the incident? Was it a regular morning, and when was it?
Yes, that morning was always a regular morning as usual. But before I left home that morning, something was telling me not to go to work. But being the discipline officer as I am, I decided, see me, I am going to work today because I have no reason to be staying home.
Now, how many children were you leaving home that morning?
Sorry?
How many people were in the household that morning? Or
all my children.
How many of them?
All 6 of them.
6, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I said, then I was saying, should I call and say that I can't make it today? But knowing the situation that if you call and you say you can't make it, it depends on the mood that they are in. They will give you something called an FTR, which is fail to report, although you call.
Right.
And then behind that, there's discipline. So I decided not to go through that and go to work. So I went to work.
Now, before, what will the discipline be? Deduction of pay, salary, or what?
Sometime, yeah, and they will either remove you from off the detail, and that is something I didn't want to happen because that was a daylight detail, and I'm getting to go home in the night to sleep.
Right.
Yeah, so, it was convenient for me.
So your job was, what was the name of your crew?
CIT? The
Cash in Transit.
Cash in Transit, yeah.
Okay, great. So you got up that morning, you didn't feel to go to work, you
No.
didn't want to call, so you decided to go.
So I went ahead and I went. When I get to the office, I went to the DM/duty manager, and I said, exactly where am I working today? Now we had the vehicle for east, south, and north, which is Peola'S north. Yeah. So she said, you're going to south. I said, you can't change it and send me north instead. She said, no, I'm not changing anything. So with that, I walk out the office and I waited for the other 2 officers because 3 of us will be on a vehicle, does normally be on a vehicle. So I waited for the driver, they don't reach yet, so we had to wait. So I decided, I say, okay, well, I'm going south. So we normally go to that place on a time like 4:45 or 5 o'clock. But their pickup usually be at 5. So sometimes we try to make it before 5 or we get there by 5. And I remember I was collecting the cash. So the person who collecting the cash have to sit in the back of the vehicle. So I was sitting behind the officer on the front seat. I was in the back.
So behind the passenger.
Yeah, behind the
Describe
passenger.
the vehicle for us. What kind of vehicle?
It was just a panel van, the normal
4x4.
4x4.
Right.
One, yeah.
Short wheelbase.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I went up and I collected the cash and put it in the bag, and I came down.
So before you continue, so one officer will stand watching your back while you go for the cash.
Yes.
He's
and
outside the vehicle.
Yes.
And the driver is behind the wheel.
The driver waiting in
Right.
the vehicle. So I went up and I collected the cash. And I remember I bent over, packing it down by my feet. I usually do that, keep the bag on the floor.
Right.
So I was talking to I remember the van, we leave in the yard, but we came to a stop all of a sudden. I know sometimes the security there does direct the traffic for us to pass out quickly with the cash. But I remember we stopped and we're not moving. So I talking to the driver, I said, boy, why you stop and you're not moving? They didn't hear and didn't know that the van was being shooting up all the time. So it's when my head was down, still fixing the money, and then I saw the door on my left side open, on my right side open. So I say my head still down. So I was saying, so why the door opening? Something tell me to watch, and when I do so, and I look around, I came face to face with a gun pointing at me. And all I could have said at that moment was, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Remember, that were my words. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even use the firearm that I was having on me. So, and I look at the guy.
So you remember seeing his face, or you were just focused on?
I can't tell you anybody's face, because at the moment I was just calling on Jesus, because I know what was going to happen. I didn't even at that moment thinking about dying, because it happened so fast. And I remember then when I call upon the name of Jesus, I remember getting the first shot. I remember seeing the first shot leave the gun.
Wow.
And it hit me on my right side, below my vest, right here. And tell you the truth, I can't remember when I received the others. I didn't know when I received the others. I understand now that the police officers were the first respondent on that scene. And what I gathered from them is that when they came to the scene, they thought that I had died because they saw brain matter on my uniform. So they thought that was from me because I was bleeding profusely from my face all over.
No,
And,
the driver and the escort, the passenger escort, they were already dead.
No, what I understand, the driver didn't dead yet. He didn't die he died in the hospital, but the passenger seat officer, he died on the spot because he was shot through his eye and a bullet went through his head, and his brain matter was on my clothes.
Oh.
Yeah, and so when the officer told me that when they saw me, they thought I was there. So the driver, now they was taking the driver out of the vehicle to put him in their vehicle to rush him to the hospital. But when he looked again, he said he saw that I moved. And then he shouted, "No, she's not dead. Let us take her out." So they came and they took me out and they rushed me and the driver to the hospital. And I remember hearing in my ear, that was the last thing I remember hearing, because after that I didn't know anything after. I was not unconscious already, but I was hearing. I was hearing somebody telling me to hold on. Hold on, mommy. And I know it was my daughter. She was telling me to hold on. And I remember shaking my head and making a nod. And I remember hearing they say, "Cut her clothes off, cut her clothes off." So I remember I said to myself, I'm in the hospital, but yet I couldn't say what was happening. And that was the last thing I know of myself.
No,
I didn't know anything again.
I know this can be very traumatic for you, even reliving that. But there are hardcore police officers out there who at some point in time during their career, and we could go way back to even, the old school police officers, Mr. James Filbert and all of these people could tell you that even the report from a firearm can make you freeze. You actually, when the person who opened the door was they say they didn't see the face or anything, but it was a young person, right?
It looks so to me, but I couldn't tell the face.
Right. And you picked up, he probably fired more than 9 shots at you.
Yeah.
But
and during that time, he would have grabbed the money.
Like well, what happened is probably they tried to get at my head, but God put that bullet. It dropped lower, so it hit my jaw, my jaw on the left, and that bullet exited on the right. And when it exited, it broke my jaw on my right. I couldn't hear in my right ear. When I came out of ICU, I know that I couldn't hear from my right ear, and I couldn't open my mouth because remember my jaw was broken, so I was feeding in a tube, and it hit me here.
Yes.
It healed up nicely, so
you
could hardly see the scar.
Yeah, you could hardly see the scar.
Yeah, and it exited here, and that's where it exited. So,
wow.
How long did you spend in ICU before you?
The intensive care unit. How long?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Or last year. And then she went over to high dependency ward and then to the regular ward.
My guy, and I'm gonna bring it in now. That voice that your mom heard, That was you.
Yes, that was me.
And how did you hear about what happened to your mom?
Well, I would have just got home from work and about to change my clothes, and my sister, I think she was at work. Yeah. And then she called and she was like, "You hear anything happen to mommy?" And I'm like, "No." She said, "Well, her friend just called and tell her something happened. So I'm like, no details at all. She was like, "No details." So within that moment now, I started to call the office. And it was a bit hectic getting onto the office. Eventually I did. When I did get onto them, nobody wanted to give me information. So I had to use some choice words. And I got a tad bit information. There was an incident at Pennywise in San Fernando. So where is she now? They believe she was taken to the hospital. Okay.
They believe.
Yeah. So I got in my car and I made my way down to the hospital. On my way to the hospital, a video was sent to my phone. Yeah. And in traffic, I stopped, I opened the video and I looked at it. Only to see my mother with her head down in the backseat of a vehicle. And all in my mind, I'm saying, she did not make it. So I am going to the hospital with that in my mind. She did not make it. Yes. So when I got there, I know some of the officers, and they took me straight inside. And when I saw her lying on the bed, it was a sign of relief because I saw that she was still breathing and stuff like that. So, and then I started to speak life into her because I realized she was in and out, you know? Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we, of course, issue a trigger warning for you out there who, cannot really deal in hearing these stories, but on Dependency, every life is a biography, and we insist that we want you to hear this story this morning, keeping in focus on security officers out there who are faced, some of them unarmed, with perpetrators every single day, and disrespect every single day.
Yep. And also the kind of trauma that persons who are involved in gun-related violence and their families, with the kind of trauma that they endure as well.
Yes.
It's very important for us to recognize that these people are not alone, and that we as a society have to do what we can to hold them up and help them to reintegrate and understand what they've gone through and process what they've gone through.
Now, Peola, your colleagues, let's talk about the driver. You mentioned a lot of things about the driver and his advocacy and all of that. What was one of the things, because did he survive actually?
No. I am the only survivor.
You're the only survivor. I just wanted that for public record, that you were the only survivor. So the two other officers were killed. Was he wearing a vest?
He had a vest, but his vest was stuttered, and he was asking for a new vest. But at the time, he didn't get a new vest, so he never used to put it on because it didn't make sense wearing that vest. It was stuttered.
Stuttered?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't good. So he was the only one who didn't have a vest on that day.
Wow.
Myself and the passenger seat driver.
And still he was allowed to go to work.
Yes.
Without a proper vest.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's really puzzling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
they wouldn't mind so long as they get their job done.
Yeah. And even the vehicle, did you all ever talk about the vehicle that you all were allowed to pick up cash?
Yeah, well, him, the driver, he was the president of our branch board. We had a branch board. You have to have a branch board for the union, which is the EPA. So we had a branch board. So he was the president. And he was telling them, I know he went to them more than one occasion, and he told them that we need to get the proper vehicle to do the job. They keep promising, but to no avail.
And what was his name? Let's remind prisoners of what his name
Jerry
was.
Stewart was his name.
Jerry Stewart. So condolences again to his
Jerry
family.
and his family.
Yeah.
And the other driver,
Jeffrey Peters.
Jeffrey Peters, and his family too. Condolences to you all. And how long did he complain about and let them know that the vehicle, because this came out in the inquiry too, about the type of vehicle that was
A soft skin vehicle we had.
soft skin.
Yes.
Well, it's with the term soft skin
Yeah.
meaning
Yeah.
it's not an
Yeah,
armored vehicle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you all feel safe at all at any time, or you just went with God's grace?
We used to go with God's grace. Honestly, we used to go with God's grace, yeah. I will pray, before we leave and things like that. I think it's maybe the prayers that keep me here.
And even I was thinking, as you were speaking about not just the vehicle, but the cash. You should have had somewhere to put the cash, a strong box, a safe, something in the vehicle.
Nowhere. We used to put them all over. We used to put them on the seat because the bag that we have, it will be full with cash. So we just put on the seat. We used to put on the ground by our feet and stuff like that.
Wow.
Well, there's so many questions here I have. When the firearm was pointed in your direction and the guy fired 9, well, you picked up 9 rounds of ammunition, right? 9 projectiles entered you and exited you. Did all exit, or did there still shrapnel in your system? Or
She still have
fragments?
Yeah, I have a lot of fragments in my body.
Really?
Yeah, so I cannot do a MRI. I could only do a CT scan. I cannot go in the MRI machine. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Peola, the lone survivor of that assault on the Pennywise cash transit vehicle from that security firm that morning. Remember what day it happened?
The 19th of September, 2022.
Good. Remember, those of you on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. On Facebook, we're trying to catch up with Facebook with regards to subscribers. So please, let's try and reach that 10,000 mark as well on YouTube. So like and subscribe to the channel, please, while you're there, and keep us going. And Peola, that miracle is in studio with us here this morning with her daughter. Now, Peola, let's go deeper into the recovery part of it after this week. Let's go to a break, and when we return now, we talk about the physical recovery, if there was any trauma counseling, support, all of these things, which is very important in rehabilitating and recuperating. So you're listening to Dependency. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more.
Slavery, a terrible time in our history. The kidnapping, buying and selling of people for profit, the exploitation of another human being. It still exists today. It has a new name: human trafficking. Anyone can be a victim. There is forced labor, sexual exploitation, and domestic servitude. Human trafficking is a worldwide problem and an emerging concern for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know of or suspect human trafficking activity, call the counter-trafficking hotline at 800-4CTU or 800-4288. Human trafficking is a crime. Identify it, report it, stop it. A message from the counter-trafficking unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Ah, boy. Feel like I'm gonna buy myself a senorita tonight.
Nah. You know you might be promoting slavery.
Slavery? What you talking about?
Hey, modern day slavery or human trafficking is just what some of these people just do. You know some of these women were tricked to come here? Some are held against their will, abused, and even beaten. Most times the girls don't even see any of the money that is paid for them. And every night, they just have to come out looking nice and sexy for somebody like you. Human trafficking is a serious problem and a serious crime. Persons who solicit commercial sex services may be contributing to human trafficking. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Do you want to support our work at Eye on Dependency? Here are 3 ways to do so. You can make a donation to the Eye on Dependency account at Republic Bank. You can follow the Eye on Dependency page on Facebook. You can subscribe to the Eye on Dependency channel on YouTube. Liking, commenting, and sharing the live on a Sunday also helps. Thanks in advance for your support.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and we are having a conversation with Peola, who and her daughter Diana. Peola, who survived the unthinkable. She was a security officer doing a routine cash pickup, and 2 of her colleagues died in that incident, a robbery.
No, there was a video of that incident that went viral. And I was just trying to explain that there was a movie with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, I remember, with men coming out with assault rifles, and they were just taking out police one by one. And that sort of reminded me of that, because I could remember now in my mind, I seeing that vehicle leaving the compound of Pennywise, and then this car pulling up in front, and gunmen jumping out and just opening up on this vehicle. Nobody thought that anybody in that vehicle would have survived that assault, because it was lethal, it was quick, it was precise. I don't understand how, to this day, we have this lady sitting in the studio here with us. It has to be God's work. It has to be the work of the Almighty. And we have to thank your ancestors for this, for having you here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, in
terms of the aftermath of this trauma, what was your physical recovery like at hospital?
Well, when I got up from ICU, I can't remember when I got up, but when I got up, there were doctors around me, and they were so elated and happy, because with all the injury that I had, they still want to think that, I was going to make it. But, when God said it's impossible with when man says impossible, God said it's possible. So I started talking, but I find now when I was speaking that the words was coming out not plain, and they were asking me to move my right foot, and I couldn't move it. And then they said to me that I developed a stroke. So, but I was rushed, however, from San Fernando to the Mount Hope Hospital, because to do the vascular surgery, because one of the bullets hit my chest, and it damaged the subclavian valve going to my heart. So they had us to do that surgery. And when I woke up, I saw my 2 hands, my left and my right hand, they were in cast. So I couldn't do anything, move. I was wearing diaper. Couldn't come off the bed because I can't walk because of the stroke.
Right.
And then I went over to HDU, and I was still in a happy mood, but I was thinking positive. But I keep asking for my co-workers, and nobody would say anything to me. Even when some of my colleagues came to look for me, And I asking them, I say, where are the, the other two? And they will say to me, they all right. Hear me? So I say, now they in hospital. They say, yeah, but they okay, they all right. They in San Fernando Hospital and all this kind of thing. I didn't know.
Right. Wow.
So is the day in question that my 2 daughters came to look for me. Well, they always come every day, but that day they came like they dressed like they went to a funeral. So I said to them, I say, so why all you dress up like all you coming from a funeral? So, and that is when they broke the news to me. They were coming from Jeffrey Peter's funeral.
How did that hit you when you heard that?
It hit me really, really hard. When they left the room, I cried and I cried and I cried. I really cried. I really, really, really cried because I remember the last moment I had with them. We were laughing and talking, and next minute they were gone, So here's me now. I'm on a wheelchair. My daughter here had to, when I was discharged from the hospital, and when I get home, I needed a nurse, so they asked who you all went to, I don't know, to see if they get a nurse for me, and they told them that I have to be 60 years and up and over, so I couldn't get a nurse. So they had to stay with me. She took some time off from work, and my other daughter took time off from work to take care of me.
What do you mean you have to be 60 years and over?
Yeah, that's what
it was. A program some program the government had. I can't remember the name of it.
Geriatric adolescent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then if the hospital discharged you and you required care at home, isn't the hospital would be responsible for that? Otherwise, why discharge you?
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. But so how long were you in hospital in total? How many months? Or
a month, about 2 weeks.
And 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A month and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
when I got home, well, she would sleep in my bed with me. I have a big bed, queen size. So she would sleep with me in the night to get up and change my diaper. I was like a baby. She will get up and change my diaper, clean me off. In the morning, she will brush my teeth. When she's not available, the other daughter will do it. They will take turns. And, they will take care of me and stuff like that. Feed me, everything. And I remember they had to rush me back to the hospital. They rushed me back to the Mount Hope Hospital. And I had to do another surgery on my stomach. So, because I was bleeding profusely.
Internally?
No, from my buttock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they had was to do surgery on my intestine.
Oh, wow.
So when the surgery was successful, I had a colonoscopy bag. Yeah, I had one of those. And I stayed there like about a week. And then I was discharged again and I came home. And then I had to do physiotherapy. Yeah, I had to do physiotherapy. So, well, that worked well with me. And then I used to practice my exercise at home. And then one day I went back to physiotherapy. I was still on the chair. And the doctor, he gave me some encouragement. He said, he told my daughter, he said, make things for her to hold in my room. So they went and they got the stuff for me to get up, and I will get off the bed and hold on to that and walk.
A little bit.
Yeah, walk and walk. And that went on so, and until I could walk on my own and didn't use the chair anymore. And that was very quick from the stroke. I got over that stroke very quickly.
So wait,
and everyone was so amazed about that.
Now, during your recuperation at any time, I mean, of course, you would have experienced a lot of physical pain and...
No. I never receive any pain. Never.
Where are you from?
I don't know. When I was in the hospital, the doctors, they took good care of me. The nurses, I must say, they took good care of me. And I don't know what is pain. I never received pain. Never had a pain. Never. She could tell you that. I never had pain. Wow. This hand here, my left hand, you see the scar? Well, I have the scars to show.
Right.
So this one was from the bone being shattered by a bullet to my hand here. So they had was to put the steel in my hand. Yeah. So you see the scar. All these here are bullet marks. Yeah. So my finger.
So when he opened fire on you, did you put your hands up, or you remember what you did?
Yeah, I think so. When I see, the normal defense will do like that.
Right,
yeah,
yes.
I think I put my hand up. Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't say anything. He just...
No, he wasn't talking. He didn't say anything. He was just shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he bent over you and pulled the bag up.
Well, I don't know.
Right.
That is what I was told. So that had to happen. No. The bag with the money, they didn't get it, The bag, because remember it was at my feet.
Right.
So the bag they took was my bag. I usually have a duffel bag. So that is what I carry my stuff in. I usually have an extra sweater in that because we just...
So wait, what you saying? They still didn't get the money after?
No, not at all. They didn't get the money. They took my bag because it was kind of heavy. Because I always carry all kind of stuff in my bag.
Right.
So they took that bag and they run with that bag. So they didn't get the money. Yeah. The money was at my feet.
So after all of that,
they almost killed
that
three
bag
people
where they went with had my purse in it, with all my ID card and stuff like that. And God is so good. I got back my purse. With all my the only thing was missing from my purse was the credit card. They took out the credit card, but I didn't max out the credit card, so it didn't have any money on it.
So all of that they did for nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
They killed 2 people and
This is 2022. This happened, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because pardon me for going through because I know I have the video here somewhere that I still, for those of you who didn't see it or anything, I still got a short man this morning, but this is so amazing. After all of that hail of gunshots, hail of rounds of ammunition going to tear into that vehicle. Did they ever did a shell count of how many shells they gathered from that shoot scene?
No, we never got a count.
That might be interesting to know how many rounds were discharged.
I went back to the location after a while to get closure. I just went back. And if you go back right now and you look on the walls, you will see the bullet hole still there.
Up to now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still there on the wall. Yeah.
Wow.
So I got back my purse with all my stuff in it except the credit card. They got the purse, the police got the purse at a certain location. They were tipped and they went and get the purse. It's at a certain location.
Right.
My purse was there. Yeah.
This part of it, I don't know if we didn't remember or they never told us, but we didn't know that they didn't get any money. So they just grabbed that duffel bag, and when they realized it's only
well, I don't know when they realized that, but
that must have been heartbreaking for them.
Yeah.
To know that when you open this bag, all they see is clothes and a hairbrush and probably toothbrush.
Yeah, all of that, all those things I had in the bag. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah.
Peola.
So recovery was good because the doctors helped me. They helped me a lot to recover. Until now, when I go, sometimes I have 1 or 2 clinics I still have to go to. They just be so, every time I just be so elated to see me. They just be so very happy to see me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about your mental health? Did you receive any mental health support counseling?
Well, the mental health, still going through that because sometimes when the thought comes up, it still affects me quite a lot. But I continue to pray and pray. Prayer make me get over a lot of it, you know. So I could talk about it now, but before I couldn't talk about it, you know, I could give a testimony now about it. And so I had, right now, the police service is assisting me with counseling.
Oh, wonderful.
The proper counseling, yes, they are assisting me. So I started one session already, so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
lovely.
that's good.
Yeah.
And what about
What
your
about the company?
employers now? Yes.
Yes, the former employers.
I had to ask them for counseling. So I went, they organized it. I went twice by this guy, but.
No use.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So.
Well, it was too intrusive or aggressive?
No, it was, I don't know. I rather the
It's
one
just
that
not
I'm
what
doing
you were
now.
expecting.
Yeah, I rather the one that I'm doing now. Yeah.
But what was their response though in terms of they've lost 2 employees and one is seriously injured. What was their official response to you and your family about this incident?
Well, I can't say anything about no response because they have never called me, especially the bosses. They have never called me.
What?
The bosses, the head of Align have never called me to say, you know, this or that.
Nothing?
No, it's the ones on the lower ground would call. Like it have one lady used to call, one of my superiors used to call my daughter to find out how I'm doing and all of that. You know? Yeah, but to say the tougher ones, they never call. They never call me. And the other 2 guys' family that died, no call from them.
What?
That those on the lower grounds will call.
Wow.
Yeah.
They said they had the wrong number.
Say that again?
They said they had the wrong number.
What wrong number are you talking about?
For the employee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have.
I eventually got on to one of them.
Just now, hold on.
When they showed up at the hospital.
They had the wrong number for Peola?
Yeah.
And she was hired by them for 16 years?
Exactly.
That's the best excuse they could have come up with?
Wow.
You see, and this is the point we like to highlight going forward here now. And this is for the new government. I don't know under which ministry, because now we have a Ministry of Homeland Security, Ministry of Defense, and of course, we welcome back the Ministry of Justice. The thing is, we don't know which one this will fall under security firms in Trinidad and Tobago now, but how do you legislate being humane? How?
I mean, not only the just basic responsibility as an employer to your employees. These 2 people died. One woman was shot 9 times. What is your responsibility as an employer to these people and their families? I mean, the least you could do is find out if they're okay and support the families of those who have died.
Knowing full well that the equipment they were using were inadequate
Was deficient,
in the first
yes,
place.
correct.
Was deficient.
Correct.
You know? So that shame alone should make you jump in front and try and look at the state of this lady and her family.
Yes.
She's not
It's
here
not
by
alone.
herself.
Oh my God.
And you saying they had the wrong number? If you're just joining us, you're listening to Our Dependency, and we are speaking with the lone survivor of that massacre in front of Pennywise from the Allied Security Company, the vehicle that Peola survived 9 rounds of ammunition. And she's living to tell the tale here. And as I told her, I'm hoping that someone in this government would embrace you and use you as a voice for change, advocacy, for betterment for security officers and the way security firms handle business in Trinidad and Tobago. First of all, let me ask you this, Peola. Every time you all go to pick up cash, is it a regular set time or it's
staggered?
The time is set. You have to be at that place at the same time every day.
Which is nonsense.
Yeah.
First of all.
Same vehicle, but sometimes they change the vehicle. But most of the time you use the same vehicle, same number.
Right. Which is crazy because any tactically sound security company will know you have to stagger the times you pick up cash. That will at least, now it wouldn't stop some surreptitious person either working for the company you're going to pick up for or working with yourself, who could call and tell the people who dealing in darkness, hey, they're on their way now and they're going to be there at certain times and all of that. And nobody questioned that mode of operation, going to pick up cash the same day, at the same time every day. Nobody questioned that. Nobody. Peola, I know this is hard for you. I know it's hard to even revisit this. Diana, how you feel about that? That set time, as someone who's familiar with law enforcement, what do you think about that, and should that be looked into?
Of course it should be looked into. There's no type of way to do things. Given the crime situation in this country today, yeah, we should look into stuff like that.
And we hope coming out of this interview that the government would mandate security firms, especially those who pick up cash, especially in these vehicles that are not designed for same, that you can at least stagger the hours of cash pickup. And the only person who should know that the cash is going to be picked up would be the person handing it over, of course, because they would know what time, nobody else would know what time the vehicle coming to pick up the cash. It's, in your mind, or from your information, has that changed, or is they still doing the same thing the same way?
No, I think that detail is no longer available. They don't do it anymore.
Within that particular company?
Within that company. My company don't do that anymore.
Okay. No, you're saying your company, so you still work with them?
No, I can't work anymore because I have a disability on my hand here. Right. I can't use my right hand to write again, so now I'm using my left hand. I learned to write with my left hand now. So now I became a left-hander. Yeah. You see on my this finger.
Yeah.
I can't close the hand properly.
Right.
It can't close in. So
you can't use a firearm any longer.
No. Right. And even though I can't go back and doing security again, no.
Let's talk about security for women who work in security firms. What advice would you give for women especially, and how security firms should treat with all their personnel?
Well, for women, me being a woman, it was very difficult sometimes because you have to go. Some women, I went through it, right? People, how do you call that? They will want to touch you inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment, yes. Sexual harassment with women. I know it have women out there afraid to talk out.
Yes.
Because we had a all-female group in the EPA just to see about that. But nobody never really come forward as fast as I know, because probably they are afraid of being victimized, and they love to victimize you, you know. But I could tell you, I went through a lot of sexual harassment, right? And when you complain, they either make a big scene out of it, they don't want to listen, and it's either they punish you because of you talking out. Yes, because of you talking out, they want to punish you. They want to move you from here and send you to Sandy Grande, and it's things like that.
What?
Yeah. So I know it have many women out there being sexually harassed and afraid to talk out.
And
like me, I talk out, but after a while, I'm telling, I became silent.
Yeah, because you're not supported
I wasn't supported in it.
Yeah.
They would talk about me badly, and they victimized me. So I started to stay silent, with it. So what I do, I will fight back. I won't have nothing to do with the person and all this kind of thing.
And try and protect yourself.
Yes, and try and protect myself. Yeah.
That system.
And this harassment came from employees or employers or both?
My colleagues. Colleagues,
yes.
yeah.
And you report it and you get threatened with transfer and instead of them
all kind of
dealing
thing
with it.
instead of all kind of thing like that. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I understand the victimization. It's not nice.
Do you think? Let's go here. Do you feel valued or supported by your employer and the system where that is concerned as a security officer?
Yeah, you don't feel value at all. I never felt value at all. Because, like, it have opportunities came around for promotion for me. And it was pressed down because of someone who didn't like me. You understand? So I never get the promotion. Yes, someone who is higher than me.
Would have gotten it.
Yeah. So I never felt valued.
Do you think society truly understands the risks security officers face?
No, I don't think so, because before time they used to call security officers dog the dog, and want to talk to you anyhow, embarrass you and things like that. So, yeah. They don't really understand what security officers are and what they have to go through. No.
Dana? Let's see.
People in general public, to me, tend to look down at security officers, and I would say that they out there doing a job. Their job is very risky as well, so I would say that people should take time, understand what they go through on a daily, because nobody knows. I mean, they are the ones that just don't care, but then they are the genuine ones who is out there making a living, an honest living, and people shouldn't treat them in a certain manner,
Have you or your family ever sought compensation from the company?
Or were you offered?
Oh. That would be discussed off air. Because there's still ongoing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's legal in the sense of the perpetrators of the crime, or with the company? They're still in legal.
Yeah.
In a legal battle with where that is concerned. Did they ever capture the persons who did it? Do you know?
On the day of the incident, 4 of them, I believe, were shot and killed.
Okay.
I think sometime last year, another one was killed in Tunapuna. The soldier is in jail, and I think there is one more. I'm not sure about his whereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the perpetrators have all been dealt with. So it's just now the company that is embroiled in the legal.
Yeah, but within anything we needed, like she had to get a wheelchair, she had to get certain medical stuff, they would have provided such when I reached out to them.
Okay, but you had to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Wow. So that means then that, Peola, you are unable to work or receiving a pension from the company, yes? No?
Government pension.
Government pension.
She's at that age now.
No, I'm not 65.
Sorry. You left for Mr. God, who will be there soon.
How I get in now?
I now start getting my NIS.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I mixed
because I turned 60.
Right.
So at least they pay that.
Well,
They were making
NIS.
their contributions
The
to
contribution,
NIS. Yes.
Yes. They pay your NIS. Yeah.
Thank God.
So I had no problem with that.
Right. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it strikes me. I don't know if it's a Trini thing, but something like that. Let me just give you an example. I remember my mother being a contractor with Texaco years ago, and they were doing a job, and one of the guys working for her fell from a cracker and died. I wasn't there. I didn't know the family. I was in the army then, and my mother insisted that I come to the funeral and call the family and make sure and come to the funeral, and I had nothing to do with what was going on. But it just goes to show you how the difference in human thinking and feelings for others. The company you should not reach out to the company for anything. As a matter of fact, they should be up under you all
correct.
Until everything is settled again.
Correct.
How?
I remember when I was home, bedridden for a while, you see the public reach out to me. And I just want to tell them thank you. They supported me. They came and they bring money for me so I can get my everyday needs, my diapers and stuff like that. And the public really helped me a lot. And I just want to tell them thanks a million. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Peola Wellington. Her daughter is in studio with us. If you can't remember, Peola was one of the only Baptiste, who is the only survivor from that attempted robbery, Pennywise cash, with that Allied Security detail, leaving Pennywise that fateful day. She got nine shots. She collected and survived. She survived that. I know people died from one. Hell, I know people died from a scrape. You survived 9 rounds of ammunition going through your body in different parts of your body, Peola. There is a reason that you are here.
Peola, before we go to the break, is there anything that you would like to share with other survivors of gun violence, especially, that you learned from your journey?
That's a hard one.
We could think about it, and when we come back from the break, we will hear her answer to that. Because of the crime situation that we enter there are a lot of families and people who have either been disabled, killed, or otherwise incapacitated because of gun violence in particular. So I want you to think about that. We'll take a final break, and when we come back, we'll hear her response.
And before we take your calls, again, as you know, what our mandate is to educate you and update you on substance abuse and its related ills. We have some sweets to show you. Those of you who can log on to Facebook and YouTube for a little while, come on. And let me show you this and the distance that people will go to get drugs to your children and how pretty these drugs look. Right over in Jamaica, there was a bust recently, just like our police here have been doing. This thing is serious, Trinidad and Tobago, and they are coming after your children. They do succession planning too as well. Because when all the seniors die out, you think alcohol and other drugs going to stop selling? They don't want that. It must continue. So we will share that with you, just so that if you see it in your child's bag or in your child's possession, you will know to at least take cautionary steps. And please, we beg you again, beg your children not to accept any sweets, any smoke, or anything from any stranger. Please.
Or a friend.
Or a friend.
Because your friend could give it the same way.
Yes. Because sometimes these friends give you that to see how you'll respond to it. Please, let's go to that break. We'll be back.
Give me my phone.
What you doing taking them kind of pictures? I'll tell mommy.
And I'll tell her you invaded my privacy.
Privacy? When you send those pics, you lose all privacy. It's like setting up a billboard with your naked pics for the world to see.
Those pictures are for my boyfriend's eyes only, and he'll never do that to me.
Yes, he can, or one of his friends or family. Or someone can steal his phone. Sending naked pics can open you up to embarrassment for you, your family, and friends. You can be harassed by bullies. Your pics can be uploaded to websites and seen by everybody, even the wrong people, sex offenders. It can also affect you getting a good job in the future. Once those pictures go out, you can never get them back.
Okay, I'll tell my boyfriend delete them, and I'll delete these. I'm glad I have a smart little sister.
I'm still telling mommy.
Yes, girl. Online here with this weirdo named Larry. I'm getting rid of him now. Let's take a selfie. It's looking good, boy. I'm putting it online.
Hey, I thought you say you went to the beach with your parents.
Who's you?
It's me, Larry, from online.
Do you want to support our work at Ion Dependency? Here are 3 ways to do so. You can make a donation to the Ion Dependency account at Republic Bank. You can follow the Ion Dependency page on Facebook. You can subscribe to the Ion Dependency channel on YouTube. Liking, commenting, and sharing the live on a Sunday also helps. Thanks in advance for your support.
Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Ion Dependency, and thank you to those of you tuned in on I-95.5 FM, as well as to those of you who are logged on to our Facebook page or YouTube channel watching the live stream. Please remember to like the live, comment, and share. That really does help the channel. Now, to go back to my question, Peola, in terms of what advice or message would you want to share with other survivors of gun violence, especially, and I specify gun violence because we are in a time now in our country where it is being hinted that persons are going to be allowed to use firearms to defend themselves. And that, in my view, may escalate the number of victims of gun violence. So what would you have to say to persons who have been through what you've been through?
I just want to say, I'm so happy that the persons out there who are victims of gun violence, the survivors, I'm the one to say that I'm happy that he survived. And you must always think positive. You have to think positive in order to, for your wellness, right? And don't forget prayers. Continue to pray and pray and pray, because prayer have me here today. Right? So that is my words to the survivors. Just continue to pray. Talk to God. If you're walking in the road and you could talk to him, wherever you are. please talk to him. He never fails me, and he will never fail you. And that is my thing to them.
All right. And what do you think in terms of your work now? What do you think needs to change in terms of how security of workers are protected in Trinidad and Tobago?
Firstly, I think favoritism need to change, because if they favor you, you will get away with anything. If they don't, you will feel the brunt. So first of all, favoritism have to change. You have to be equal with everyone, because everyone doing the same job. That is my
and it's facing the same risk.
Yes, and facing the same risk. Yeah.
Dan, anything you want to throw in there?
No.
What about the response to the families? As a family member, what advice would you give to employers about responding to situations like this to families and having information readily available to them?
I would say they need to be more, their HR needs to be more on point, because you can't tell me you have a wrong number, in situations like that, and then the fact of divulging information to the family. Why withhold something so tragic? Because that feeling wasn't nice at all. I have to actually go out my way to get information that I still didn't receive from the company. So I would say some people probably don't know how to translate information. We know sometimes it may be tragic that they don't know how to relate, but instances like that, things need to be said. Don't have people waiting, and be more supportive. Yeah, be more supportive towards families. Take more interest in your employees. A lot more interest in your employees. Because, as she say, you don't know what they're going through out there. Sometimes you're sitting behind a desk and they out there on the field. So take more interest. Listen to their concerns and work into making things better for them. Yeah.
I could add to that, because the other two families, because they had the same problem. When they called the company, they were getting the same runaround. Nobody was telling them what happened and all this kind of thing. And they will call them back and all this kind of thing.
And never call back.
And never call back. So they had to find out on their
from
own,
other people.
from other people exactly what happened.
And finally, what do you think, or both of you, what do you want members of the public and our new leaders in the government? We have a new government. What do you want them to take away from your story, apart from what you've already said?
I would like to look into places like the social welfare office, because we went there and darling, they had my daughter going from one place to the other. Go buy this one, go buy this one. When you come buy this one, come buy this one. And we never got through.
Besides going from one office to another, I was actually braced with the fact that when I told them what I came here for, one of the employees was like, "She alive?"
My God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
if you're within that department, I think you should look into yourself. It's social welfare and family services. So you can't, that's not a response you will give someone.
She alive?
Certainly
yes.
not. Definitely
not.
not.
Like, she alive? Or one was like, I thought she dead.
What?
Yeah, I never went back to the office after that day.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we never got through. Yeah.
That's Shagona's office. Never went back.
And God, I know this is a pet peeve of yours, because in his mind, and to a lot of people's minds, the ministry responsible for delivering social services to the public has to be the most empathetic, the most compassionate, the most caring out of any public-facing employees in the public service. They have to be. Because people who are coming to you with problems that you need to solve.
Exactly.
You can't. Somebody's coming to look for assistance for their parent who has just survived 9 shots, and you asking and you saying she's still alive. That's the question you will ask.
Instead of you fly off your chair and hug this young lady.
Exactly.
And say, come sit. You want some tea? You want some coffee? How is she doing? Get her on the phone, talk to her. This is what you expect
Oh my goodness.
from an institution like that.
Correct.
Lord Jesus, you just reminded me of the journey I had too as well. Trinidad and Tobago. We need a change at some point, I don't know if I'll be alive to see it. But we have to start loving each other because all of us were born here. And we cannot cut off the respect at a certain rung on the ladder, My mother used to always tell me, God, from Prime Minister to vagrant, treat everybody the same. And never feel that you're better than anybody. And I keep living my life hoping and praying, Lord, no matter how high you put us, never ever let me forget where I came from and treat people with scorn and contumely and hate and contempt. I don't want to reach to that. Because they are not a person listening this broadcast this morning could tell you that I refuse to help them, no matter what side of the fence they're on. I feel it for everybody because I saw what my mother went through with me as an addict. Oh God, Trinidad and Tobago, let's change now. Let's try now, at least, and love everybody now. That's so difficult, boy.
That needs to change, absolutely. In terms of that service provided by the state, this is a service that we are entitled to as citizens of this country.
And
there's no
she's still
excuse
alive?
for that.
Yeah. I thought she dead. That is what an official to somebody representing that ministry said to you?
Yes.
Good God Almighty.
Wow. And you never got through.
And you still didn't get through
No.
nothing?
I didn't go back. I didn't go back after that because I left there broken,
Yeah,
of course.
In the midst of all the trials going through already.
Wow.
I hope you're listening to this, I don't want to say what I really want to say, but I hope you're listening to this. And we have 3 women now at the helm of taking our country in a different direction. And I hope the people below them understand their vision and try to follow that, and treat people with respect, every single person, And you see the security guards, you see that ministry you're talking about in that building, the security guards were one of the nicest people that I ever met because they see how many times I had to climb that stairs and run up and down that elevator. But they were always welcoming. As a matter of fact, I felt at one time that the security should have been working upstairs and the people who working upstairs should be doing the security work. Honestly, because the security, they wore a sort of brown uniform. They were really nice people. And I thank them for at least making me comfortable every time I visited them. But I know what you're talking about. This needs to stop. This needs to change. Oh, my God.
Definitely.
Yes, it does.
You're listening to our Dependency people. As usual, sometimes I get emotional with this. But we have Peola'S in studio here. And just what you just said there, Diana, that really ticked me off to know that you could go to a place that's supposed to look out for you and your family and your welfare and ask you, she's still alive? I thought she dead. Really? You didn't tell your mother that?
No.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I understand why.
I understand why. Well done. That you had to put her through that mental state. Anything else, Peola, that you'd like to?
We want to open the lines and
before
take
we do
your
that,
calls.
let's show the Let me just read something for you, someone who's listening. Got cooking veggies, lentils, cleaning fish and chicken. God, you all making me cry from my belly this morning. Only because I'm a man, I'm breakdown. Ja boy, this story is a story of just pain. Everything about this incident is total mashup. God is in charge. He have to be. May God continue to guide and protect this woman and her family. Have plenty of people who in high-ranking positions with more than enough to feed the whole country financially, who only care about them and their own family. Imagine dying and putting your own life to protect money for the evil people. Yes, they are evil. Well, they're describing what they're hearing, and of course, you're bringing out a lot of emotions in people here this morning. We need to do better by each other, boy. I'm getting scared for Trinidad and Tobago if we don't change the way we treat each other, and that is the problem. It's as if we have no love for each other and we don't care if people survive. I'm not understanding that when you treat somebody's child that way or husband that way, they have a family to go back home to. And indirectly, it could affect the family with misdirected anger. You all ever thought of that? Treat everybody the same, and it's not difficult. It is not difficult. Because Natasha and I, we help Syrian, we help Indian, we help African, we help French Creole. We helped who reached out to us for help. We never looked down on anyone. Is that so difficult for us to do in Trinidad and Tobago? You all tell me that is difficult to achieve, or I am just being naive. Shotma, go to that image for me, please. Ganja Lay Sweets seized in St. Mary.
St. Mary. This is in Jamaica. Police have seized a staggering haul of illegal ganja-infused products from a two-bedroom house in Tower Isle, St. Mary. Acting on intelligence, members of the St. Mary Division teamed up with detectives from the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division to carry out the targeted operation at approximately 5 a.m. What they uncovered behind closed doors was a treasure trove of ganja-laced edibles. The seizure included a jaw-dropping 200 cannabis-infused gummies, 17 sugarcane candies labeled High Vibe, and several packets of other edible products such as Needs, quote-unquote, Needs gummies. Officers also found 9 packets and 11 cups of compressed ganja strains, 7 saucers containing loose ganja, and bottles of rum spiked with cannabis extracts. A packet of cannabis-laced Island Spice hot wing sauce and a container of cannabis-infused Tic Tacs were among the unusual finds. One individual was taken into custody as investigators probe deeper into the origin and intended distribution network of the contraband. The Jamaica Constabulary Force hailed the success of the operation as another significant strike in their relentless campaign to dismantle the illegal drug trade and safeguard communities island-wide. This successful raid underscores the commitment of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to disrupting the illegal drug trade and ensuring the safety and well-being of communities across the islands, the police said. The cops are reminding the public that the sale and distribution of cannabis-infused edibles remains illegal under Jamaican law and poses significant health risks, especially to minors. And this is from the Star newspaper on the 1st of May, 2025.
Yep. And if you see it on your screen, this is what it looks like. So if you're seeing this in your child's bag, Tash, you can show that in a minute because Tom don't have the app. Yeah. Sure. If you see this in your child's possession, at least be curious enough to know what it looks like. Those are gummies, and you see how pretty they look.
Regular gummies, right? But
and remember, these can be used in trafficking as well.
Correct.
Because if they have, I mean, we have.
And despite this, we know that cannabis is legal in Jamaica, right? But the cannabis-infused products are not.
That's the dangerous ones. Those are the dangerous ones. Because you see...
And we also have decriminalized cannabis, possession of cannabis here, but we have not yet, we are yet to regulate the production and distribution of cannabis in Trinidad and Tobago. So people who feel like it's legal now, no, not quite.
No, but I still hoping that the Prime Minister would now go further into that, what she said on the platform. Because we visited a cannabis shop, we have the recordings, and we plan to show you that down the road, because Trinidad and Tobago, if we do it right, we can make a lot of money from cannabis sales here. But, and it's not that we encouraging, don't feel that's what we're doing here, but we have to look at what Jamaica doing, what St. Vincent's doing. They're making tons of US from exporting cannabis. Tons.
And this is not just for recreation, but medicinal as well.
Medicinal as well. So we have to be a little more open-minded where this is concerned. We have the evidence, we have the proof. Thankfully, the the owner of the shop in Canada gave us a tour of the shop, so we'll show you how tremendous and how well packaged and delivered to the public, but it's heavily regulated by the government.
Yes.
They don't play. I mean, it's so serious that they can't even display from the front of the store. They have to block the front of the store, camouflage it, so that, they still go in that distance to go to image B, short man, and then go to that video C to show you how far that people will go to get drugs to our children, and to get drugs on the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. And now that we have new heads of security in Trinidad and Tobago, we hope that this is something that they will tackle head on. That's not our job. We see about the victims. Shortman, where are you? We have to take some calls. So let's
go to video C.
Go to video C, please. Shortman, I want you all to watch yourselves how far people go to bring drugs to your children. Look at this. For those of you on radio,
you can keep the mics on, Tom, because
yes,
there's not much in way of audio, and we can kind of describe what for our radio audience what you're saying.
Yes, so police stopped our car and they ripped, and we thank Whitfield Turner for this.
So a quantity of drugs was taken out of the tire of the vehicle. Now the officers searching the seat, the back seat, ripping open the seat, and inside the seat there are pills, little plastic bags with pills. Again, he's going into the back of the seat again, ripping it open through all the layers. Again, he's pulling out plastic bags with pills, yellow and white pills.
Every part of that vehicle had drugs in it.
Going into the handrest now, open the handrest, and inside that is a compartment with more bags and money, of pills and money. And the roof, the ceiling of the car now, he's ripping that open, and out comes more plastic bags with pills, white pills. Again, now he's going in on the back passenger side door, ripping out the speaker. Again, more plastic bags with pink, white, lime green pills. Ripping out the compartment of the door. Plastic bags with white pills. Every possible place they could have put, they could have concealed drugs in this vehicle. Now he's going to the back of the car, tapping on the exterior of the car. He's taking off the bumper now.
And these pills so pretty. the drugs are so pretty. It's people. We just want you to be careful out there.
Yep.
Just keep your wits about you. Keep your neck on a swivel, because there's a lot of evil people out there waiting.
Underneath the vehicle and all, they did a search. They put some lights underneath the vehicle. Another package with more drugs. This is a lot. I mean, I don't know how they would have found this person or detected that this is what he was doing, and we don't know where this is taken, where this is from, but it's a very thorough search of this vehicle. He's now in the trunk. He took out the spare tire. He's going into the base of the trunk here now, taking out all of those things, and underneath. Where the spare tire should be, there's a box. That's a briefcase. He's taking that out. And in the briefcase, what do you think we'll find in there?
So you all see, those of you who are watching, you see how far that these people will go to get drugs to us here.
Yep.
So, please.
And in the briefcase, several denominations of currencies, plus more pills. I'm seeing, does that look like cigarettes? So illegal cigarettes, money, pills in that vehicle.
So let's take some of your calls. 622-3937. Good morning to Rosemary out there in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you very much for joining us. To those of you on YouTube, thank you for joining us this morning, family. You came out in your numbers this morning for Peola and Diana, and we thank you so much. God bless you all. Remember, while you're there, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get those subscriptions up, and you will know when we are on and what we are up to. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, God. Good morning, Natasha. And good morning to the very fortunate and brave young lady.
This miracle we have in studio here?
That's right, a walking miracle. So, God, I've been listening to the whole issue. And my question is, where is the health and safety authority in this whole thing? I think they call them OSHA. I think their responsibility is to protect the employees from unscrupulous employers. So maybe as a part two to this, you may want to invite OSHA onto your program and use this particular security company as a sample and find out what is their authority as it relates to these things. Because based on what I'm hearing, it seems that though they deliberately put the employees in harm's way, and I'm almost sure the Act, the Health and Safety Act, speaks about certain things when it comes to these companies. Because they're supposed to have some measure of involvement in this, and I'm hearing nothing about them at all. Even from the time the incident happened. So no, they didn't hear nothing from health and safety people. And I think their responsibility is to look out for the employees of unscrupulous employers, and I believe the security company qualifies. So maybe you may want to have a plan or two in that regard.
Okay.
That's an interesting angle.
Somebody
yes.
asked about workman's compensation. Does that from your
I'm not sure
employer?
if that probably falls underneath the OSH Act. But again, that is a piece of legislation that employers are mandated to subscribe to and to ensure that all of these safety and health procedures are followed for employees. So that is a matter for, I believe, the Ministry of Labour and the Industrial Court. But that is an interesting angle on this.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Teddy St. Clair's.
Morning.
Good morning, Teddy sister. What's your sister name?
Peola.
Good morning.
Miss Peola.
Yes.
Sometime late last year or early this year, I was happy to see the video where the guy gave you the makeover now.
Yes.
I want to say, may Jah continue to, major light, blessings, guidance and protection continue to be showered upon you. Because it's the first time I hear somebody describe a near-death experience.
Yes.
What is so used for you? So it is so unfortunate that the social services didn't treat you well, right? But the greatest gift is that you're alive to testify of the goodness of God. So keep up the faith. God bless, save him home, and God will continue to bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and you got some love here from the network of NGOs, gender affairs, network of NGOs.
Yes.
Gender affairs. Network of NGOs sends their love. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I just want to join my voice in giving God praise and thanks for saving life of your sister. God is faithful and He's worthy to be praised, and I'm really pleased with her positivity in terms of how she has been handling all that she have gone through. And so I join with her in giving God praise and thanks. I want to say, however, apart from that, is that considering the nature of your program, God, I don't think you should be giving any kind of support in any way for the growth and sale of any kind of drugs for any kind of revenue or income. You should have a zero tolerance as far as drugs is concerned. You could be making $1 billion. Your program is about people staying off the use of drugs and not having their lives destroyed by it. And so I think you all need to, not sympathize in any way. Money has nothing to do with it. Because whatever legislation you put in place, there will still be those who would gain access and would have their lives destroyed.
That's a strange thing. That's a strange thing you would say, but thank you very much. But, nobody's calling. You've heard us here every day, every Sunday, speak about the alcohol. That's doing even more damage to our society than marijuana is. Correct. What the irony is that I kept saying it over and over and over and over. We've done scientific studies. We've showed you that there are some people, just like there are drinkers, there are people, we have cannabinoid receptors, right? So, having said that, we'd like you to join us too in the same way, going after the alcohol. And
tobacco.
They're all addictions. But look at money they're making off of alcohol. Look at money being made off of cigarettes. So let us try and you didn't hear me say that we should legalize cocaine. It's a big difference. But then there are those who, just like those people who like to drink some wine at the end of the day, there are those who turn to the weed to do that. And scientific studies would have shown that no one in the world ever, since marijuana was around, ever died from an overdose. However, we warn those families who have mental ill health running in their genes to speak to your children and be very careful about them using marijuana, because we don't know who is the affected child in the family, and they could end up in mental institutions if they use marijuana.
Plus, we never advise for any person under the age of 25 to use any substance, because we understand how the brain works and how drugs and alcohol affect the brain. You've never heard us advocate for that.
Yeah, and so under the last administration, it was decriminalized.
Correct.
But there was nothing further than that. Now, what this new government talking about is regulating. And because, let me tell you this, sir, the black market marijuana right now more dangerous.
Yes. Because we don't know what's in it, what it's being laced with, how it is produced, and regulating the sale and distribution of cannabis will protect persons who decide to use it either for recreation or medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
That's what it's designed
We would
to
have
do.
liked your voice when the idea came about to give each person in our household the permission to plant 4 trees. That to me was nonsensical, because it's better to say, you give a household 4 trees. So let's be real here. We didn't decriminalize marijuana and dependency, so we just have to go with the trend and try now to see how best we can even bring in revenue from medicinal marijuana, because Jamaica doing it already. They've been doing it a long time. We interviewed Ralph Gonzalez right on this radio program. We have his voice. We could play it back for you. So yes, we are not encouraging it, but it's there. And then let's try to work around it and save who we could save, and at the same time help the economy to grow. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, God.
Good morning.
Natasha. My heart go to that lady because one Christmas Eve, I was standing on Southern Main Road near a gas station, and a guy just passed nearby me running with a gun in his hand. And I was able to look down the barrel of the gun, and the guy continued on his journey. But that woman face what coming out of the barrel of the gun. I sympathize with her. She's a very strong woman.
Yes, she is.
Bye-bye.
Yes, she is. And by the grace of God, she's here.
Yes.
By the grace of that, her ancestors protected her and shielded her. And she will be here to tell the story.
Yep.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, go ahead.
Yes, with regard to the lady that was in the shooting incident, there is the victim of crime unit in Tower C at the Port of Spring waterfront.
Victim and witness support unit.
I don't know, but they have a victim and
compensation board.
board.
Yes.
That she was supposed to be able to be compensated for injuries because of crime. Right? A lot of people who are gangsters who get shoot up just go and get money from there. So she was working, so she's a victim. Right? Some of them involved in crime and they're getting compensated so much as she's supposed to be compensated. Right? I don't know if the government that coming now will change that. Right? But she should, her family, if she don't know about it, they should try and go down there and see what can be done. Secondly, I was in and out of the vehicle, so I'm not sure if she talk about workmen compensation.
Somebody asked that as well.
The Workmen Compensation Act is clearly defined in law, and if the employers are not responding in the affirmative where that is concerned, she can go to the Workmen Compensation Board, which is in the same Tower D as Tower C in the High Court, and they will do the appropriate documentation, and she has to get a physical from a doctor stating what is her level of disability, right? And she should have some level of disability because of all what she has been through, whether permanent or partial, and she should be able to get some compensation from the Workmen Compensation Board. Thirdly, you should advocate for to help her get proper legal advice and take the company to court for putting her life at risk using a vehicle that is not worthy of that type of work and putting her life in jeopardy. So there is redress in the civil court. She shouldn't be suffering, or at least she should be on the road to receiving some kind of compensation. But there is from those three different avenues that I spoke of. Right?
Sure. Thank you very much for your input this morning.
Yeah.
I appreciate
we
it.
have to do some research into how persons can go about accessing the benefits under the Workmen's Compensation Act. I don't know if there's a board, or who do you go to in terms of accessing those funds?
I still don't understand, though, in a country so small as ours, someone surviving 9 rounds of ammunition coming at her, she still have to be wondering, and we still have to be giving her advice. She should be telling us, well, since this happened, this is what happened, I am good now, everything is all right. We shouldn't have to even be discussing this.
True.
Good morning.
Hi, God and Natasha. Good morning, and good morning to Peola and her daughter.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Right. Did they have one bulletproof vest?
Yes, we did.
All right, that is one. And number 2, why you all have to go to social welfare? Social welfare should have been coming to this woman. But this thing was all over the place. Everybody know about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hurtful thing, man. And I hope something be done about the social welfare business, because it ain't sounding right.
Thank you, Cora.
Thanks very much, darling.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I agree. We need to care about each other more, but you do have to know the person, you know. You do have to know them, you know. Good morning.
Good morning, Kat and Natasha.
Good morning.
The lady, what I had to say, I didn't get in, and Nicola before the last, he went to the distance and completely explained where she should be at. So all I can say now is, God, you only have me baffled, right? You see, we decriminalized marijuana, the last administration decriminalized. I say we because I'm in Trinidad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decriminalized marijuana. We didn't legalize it because we wanted young people who had a little to joint or something small and in remand yard for years.
Yes.
And we helped them to come out, right? When they come out now, they're telling themselves the marijuana legalized because we didn't explain it properly to them. And they just go and get whole and go back in. And certain people, well, you and all, wanted to walk back on that judgment, right? Now, somebody just shooting off explanation how they're going to get money for the country, so they're going to sell medicinal marijuana. And you supporting that, so you have me baffled, because what it is going to happen if you didn't go through the legislation that the last administration didn't reach yet, because it was here and there, back and forth. That is why they didn't reach the medicinal part. So to jump in on that now is a whole space remain open there. You have to legislate it properly. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. God,
Now,
I found some information before you go on about the criminal the Criminal Injuries Compensation Board, which is the actual name, but not Victims Compensation
Hold one second,
Board.
caller.
Yes, the Criminal Injuries Compensation Board is under the Ministry of National Security, and its vision is a committed agency providing assistance to victims of crime with respect, compassion, professionalism, and efficiency. And their mission is to award financial aid to victims of crime and or their dependents in a timely manner and to make referrals to support services to facilitate recovery. They're located at Tower C in the Waterfront Center. So I will share this information with Peola and her daughter so that they can investigate, if they haven't already, into how they can receive some compensation from this entity.
All right. Before we take that call quickly, caller, go ahead. Thank you for holding.
Okay. Yes, God, Natasha, morning to you.
Morning, Annette. Morning.
Yes, Tamika, morning to you. Shortman, morning. To the lady and her daughter in studio, special good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Ma'am, God has kept you alive for a reason and a purpose. Maybe you haven't seen the purpose as yet, but I think the purpose is there. So I was traumatized listening to you, but keep on listening to you, my heart grew stronger. That and Natasha, I want to talk about the social welfare department. I'm not staying long. They need to revamp that whole place. Now, I have a friend who 4 consecutive years, has been going there with all documents from doctors, clinics, the hospital social worker, because she's partly disabled. No help from one particular officer in Tunapuna. And I think they need to put cameras over the head of these officers, because some of them, they are very out of timing. Very, very, very out of timing. So I'm here listening. God bless you, dear lady. God bless the children. God bless Iron Dependency and Trinidad and Tobago. Thanks.
Thank you, my dear. Now, let me just say this again, and we will have to do a program. You know, many times we've tried to get Mr. Alwari then to come and sit. Just no need, hold on. Come and sit with us to flesh this out so you all will understand.
Yep.
We never had it happen. We tried for years, right? So that was done. There's a thing called harm reduction. You all have phones. You all have computers. Do your own research. We are not promoting drug use.
No.
But the further you drive something underground, is the more dangerous it will be for the public to consume.
Correct.
Understand this. Go to St. Anne's right now, call St. Anne's and find out how many young children are being admitted to St. Anne's from psychotic episodes
involving cannabis.
Right. So don't knock the lady for bringing it to the platform. Not because is them who did it. Let's try and be open-minded here. Again, look at what your Caribbean colleagues are doing. And the regulation and sales can be stiffly monitored for those who can handle it and afford it, and at the same time, they understand their blood lineage and their DNA and all of that. It's a lot of studies and a lot of work, and we will take our time and do it here once we are allowed to continue with our independence.
I can't believe in 2025 we still having this conversation. But anyway.
Morning, Taz.
Morning.
And let me say my sympathies to Peola and what she went through. May God continue to bless you. And you have you here for a reason. That's how long I sat down in that station there about 20 years ago.
Yes.
Arrive alive.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of stories I could give only about that social development ministry. It's hard. You see, what they do, they believe that they're doing the public a favor.
Yes.
Right? The taxpayers' dollars, some minister own or some employee their own. So they talk to you in however they want to talk to you. And if you try to respond, you have an attitude and they spin around the story. And because Trinidad and Tobago, we like plenty gossip, half stories, innuendos, lies and make-up story, and you poor and indigent, is you coming there with attitude. So when you're living on a disability grant and a $500 food card like me, what are you supposed to do?
When I go there, not put the tail between my legs because of favor they're doing me. I didn't born here. I didn't contribute to Trinidad and Tobago. But we're not going and change, boy. As I tell you, we like too much gossip. But as Baba Pundit say, karma don't discriminate. I could give many stories inside of that place. That is why I have nothing to say again. They believe that the grants that they're giving you, you must cover, you must not ask any question, because this favor I'm doing here for you, you have to hold and go ask nothing. Your one threshold below the means test or over, go from here. Look at the comment. I could give you, look at the comment that tells that young lady daughter. They go spin around that and say she coming there with her attitude and coming there irritated. Yeah. That is why we answer she so. Yeah. Miss Annette says something perfectly well. It's time to put cameras there, right? Like in our first world countries over that staff that is seeing people on a regular basis in a complaint department. And you cannot have, you have a threshold, but there are always cases where it could be flexible. It is not cast in stone, right? You could be flexible if you see this person really need assistance. Yeah, there's a means test. The person is an animal, is a human being. And these are things where empathy and sympathy comes in. God, where your mother say, brother, I'm going to tell you some God, and then you. You're a good one and no brother. I understand in this life, everybody different, and everybody value systems different. And in their mind, they're doing the poor, indigent, disabled. I ain't not disabled, you know. You know, people tell people that. I ain't not disabled, I could see. And they're doing me a favor, so I under the gun for a $500 food card and a $2,000 disability grant. The hydrocarbons out in the Gulf there, that is them own. That I don't belong to me too. I not living here. So God boy morning and sweetheart, you stay strong. God have you here for a reason. But as I tell you, karma, Baba Pundit say, is real and they don't discriminate. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to clarify something about the Criminal Injuries Compensation Board. I just found the application form online, scrolling. When I reached to the end, look what I go see. Please note, all applications must be submitted within 1 year of injury or death. So that unfortunately disqualifies Peola from. So that is important to note. So now that you know that this board exists, you have to submit the applications within a year of the injury or death. Please.
You know, before we go, I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, it's not too late for us to love each other and understand each other. We have a perfect example of never giving up in studio here with us and her family. And I'll just only take all your minds back to some ministers now, and both in opposition and government. Roger Alexander, who's now a minister, Penny Beckers, who's now the opposition leader, the Minister of Culture, and Kamala Prasad Bisesa. They all have stories, you know, but one thing in common is never give up.
Yep.
And Peola, with that said, we want you to, Oscar, I'm going to share your text with Peola so she can read it in her quiet time. Your closing remarks, we have news coming up in 2 minutes. So, Peola, give us your closing remarks, please. You look like you're still in shock. What happened to you? You feeling sad or you're happy this morning with the love that you got?
I'm happy.
You're happy? Yes. And we're happy for you too. And like I said, we hope that, you know, the new Minister of Labor and all these things could get an audience with you so that you can explain the security industry. You spent 16 years there. You have a wealth of information. We need to embrace people like you. Your closing remarks, please.
I just want to say thank you for having me on the program this morning. And thank you for the love from the public that I'm receiving up to now. Thank you all. Thank you.
Dana?
Yes, I share the same sentiment. Thank you to each and every one of you. Garth and Natasha, thank you for having us. And to the general public, a heartfelt thank you to you all. Your support is still coming, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Yes. And in closing, I want to say, folks, that, well, this journey here with the counter-trafficking unit, as you know, there's no more Ministry of National Security. So We just have to keep our fingers crossed that we are engaged going forward and we be able to continue to bring independency to you. We don't know what the future holds, but God is great. You know, our ancestors are looking on and they will help us too as well. So God bless you all, Natasha.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks, Peola and Diana, for
Coming
sharing.
Tom, thanks for your time. Major news up next at 12 with Janelle Wilson.
Good afternoon.